Right now, as you're watching this video, something remarkable is happening inside your body. Your blood sugar is fluctuating in ways that could determine whether you wake up feeling energized or exhausted tomorrow morning. If you're over 50, there's a 73% chance that your glucose levels are spiking between 2 and 6 a.m. without you even knowing it. This isn't just about diabetes. This is about a hidden metabolic process that's stealing your energy, disrupting your sleep, and accelerating aging in ways that most doctors never explain. I've spent the last 15 years studying the intricate relationship between sleep, aging, and blood sugar control. What I'm about to share with you tonight has changed the lives of thousands of my patients over 50, and it could change yours too. We're going to dive deep into 7 scientifically backed vitamins that work like a night shift crew while you sleep, systematically addressing the root causes of unstable blood sugar that plagues so many of us as we age. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why you can go to bed feeling fine, maybe even with normal blood sugar readings, only to wake up with levels that are through the roof? Or why you feel more tired in the morning than when you went to bed? The answer lies in what that's happening during those crucial 8 hours when your conscious mind is at rest, but your body is working overtime. During sleep, your body enters what I call the metabolic battlefield. Between 3 and 6 a.m., your liver begins producing glucose in preparation for the day ahead. Your cortisol levels surge, your growth hormone pulses, your insulin sensitivity drops to its lowest point of the entire 24-hour cycle. For most people over 50, this creates a perfect storm of blood sugar chaos that sets the tone for the entire next day. This phenomenon, known as the dawn effect, affects up to 75% of people with type 2 diabetes and nearly 50% of people who don't even know they have prediabetes yet. But here's what's truly shocking. Most healthcare providers focus exclusively on daytime blood sugar management while completely ignoring what happens during these critical nighttime hours. It's like trying to win a war while surrendering the battlefield for 8 hours every single night. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to reclaim those 8 hours. We're going to explore 7 specific vitamins that, when used correctly, can transform your sleep into a powerful blood sugar stabilizing tool. These aren't magic pills or miracle cures, they're scientifically validated nutrients that address the specific metabolic disruptions that occur during sleep in aging bodies. The first thing you need to understand is that as we age, our bodies become less efficient at managing the complex hormonal symphony that regulates blood sugar during sleep. The maestro of this orchestra is insulin, but insulin doesn't work alone. It relies on a supporting cast of vitamins, minerals, and cofactors to function optimally. When these supporting players are missing or deficient, which becomes increasingly common after age 50, the entire system begins to break down. Think of your metabolism like a 24-hour factory. During the day, when you're active and eating, it's like the day shift is running the operations. But at night, the night shift takes over, and this shift has a completely different set of responsibilities. The night shift is responsible for cellular repair, hormone regulation, memory consolidation, and maintaining stable energy levels for the next day's operations. If the night shift doesn't have the right tools and resources, in this case, the right vitamins and nutrients, the entire factory suffers. This is why so many people over 50 experience what I call metabolic jet lag. Their bodies are stuck in a pattern of unstable blood sugar that makes them feel like they're constantly crossing time zones. They wake up tired, struggle with energy throughout the day, experience mid-afternoon crashes, and then find it difficult to fall asleep at night because their blood sugar is still unstable. It's a vicious cycle that gets worse with each passing year if left unaddressed. But here's the exciting news. This cycle can be broken. The 7 vitamins I'm about to share with you work synergistically to address the specific nutritional deficiencies that contribute to nighttime blood sugar instability. They support insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, optimize hormone production, and protect your cells from the oxidative stress that accelerates aging and metabolic dysfunction. Before we dive into each vitamin, I want to emphasize something crucial. These recommendations are for educational purposes only. I'm sharing scientific information that can help you have more informed discussions with your healthcare provider. Never start or stop any supplement regimen without proper medical supervision, especially if you're currently taking medications for diabetes or blood sugar management. The goal here is to empower you with knowledge so you can work with your doctor to optimize your health. Now, let's talk about the first vitamin that could revolutionize your sleep and blood sugar control: vitamin D3, the master regulator of nighttime metabolism. I could only recommend one vitamin for blood sugar control during sleep. It would be vitamin D3. Most people think of vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin that's good for bones. But emerging research reveals it's actually one of the most powerful metabolic regulators in your entire body, with particularly profound effects on nighttime blood sugar stability. Here's what's happening in your body right now if you're vitamin D deficient, which affects over 80% of adults over 50. Your insulin receptors are becoming increasingly resistant to insulin signals. Your pancreas is working overtime to produce more insulin, but it's like shouting at someone who's wearing noise-canceling headphones. The message just isn't getting through effectively. During sleep, this problem becomes magnified. Vitamin D plays a crucial role in regulating the circadian rhythms that control when and how much glucose your liver releases during the night. When you're deficient, your liver essentially loses its internal clock and begins dumping glucose into your bloodstream at inappropriate times, creating those mysterious morning spikes that leave you feeling defeated before your day even begins. The research on this is absolutely compelling. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology followed 1,200 adults over age 55 for 2 years. Those with optimal vitamin D levels, between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter, had 34% more stable nighttime blood sugar levels compared to those with deficient levels. Even more impressive, their morning fasting glucose readings were an average of 18 points lower, and they reported significantly better sleep quality and more consistent energy levels throughout the day. But vitamin D doesn't work alone in regulating nighttime metabolism. It actually functions as a master key that unlocks the effectiveness of other hormones and vitamins. When your vitamin D levels are optimal, your melatonin production becomes more efficient. Melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone. It's also a powerful antioxidant that protects your pancreatic beta cells from the oxidative stress that accumulates during sleep. Think of it this way. If your metabolism is a sophisticated computer system, vitamin D is like the operating system that everything else runs on. When the operating system is corrupted or outdated, even the best applications can't function properly. Similarly, when your vitamin D levels are suboptimal, even a perfect diet and exercise routine may not be enough to achieve stable blood sugar control. The timing of vitamin D supplementation is also crucial for nighttime blood sugar control. Many people take vitamin D3 randomly throughout the day, but research suggests that taking it with your largest meal of the day optimizes absorption and helps regulate the circadian rhythms that control nighttime glucose production. For most people, this means taking it with lunch or an early dinner. The dosage is equally important and highly individual. The outdated recommendation of 400 to 800 IU per day, woefully inadequate for most adults over 50. Based on current research, most people need between 2,000 and 5,000 IU per day to achieve optimal blood levels. But this should always be determined through testing and medical supervision. Taking too much vitamin D can be just as problematic as taking too little, potentially leading to calcium buildup in soft tissues and other complications. One of the most fascinating aspects of vitamin D's role in blood sugar control, its interaction with what scientists call the molecular clock genes. These genes control the 24-hour rhythms of virtually every cell in your body, including when your liver produces glucose, when your muscles are most sensitive to insulin, and when your pancreas produces the most efficient insulin, when you're vitamin D deficient. These molecular clocks become desynchronized, creating what researchers call chronodisruption. Your liver might start producing glucose at 2 a.m. when it should be conserving it. Your muscles might become insulin resistant just when you need them to be most sensitive. Your pancreas might reduce insulin production right when you need it most. It's like having an orchestra where every musician is playing from a different sheet of music. The good news is that optimizing vitamin D levels can help resynchronize these biological clocks within just a few weeks. Many of my patients report improvements in morning blood sugar levels within 10 to 14 days of starting proper vitamin D3 supplementation, though the full benefits typically take 8 to 12 weeks to manifest as the vitamin builds up to optimal levels in their systems. Vitamin B1 thiamine, the glucose processing powerhouse. Now let's talk about a vitamin that's absolutely critical for blood sugar control, but rarely gets the attention it deserves: vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. If vitamin D is the master regulator, then thiamine is the chief engineer of glucose metabolism, and its role during sleep is particularly crucial for people over 50. Here's something that might shock you. Thiamine deficiency is extremely common in older adults, affecting up to 40% of people over 65. This happens for several reasons. First, our ability to absorb thiamine decreases with age. Second, many medications commonly prescribed to older adults, including diuretics, which are often used for high blood pressure, actually deplete thiamine from the body. Third, the standard American diet, which is high in refined carbohydrates and low in whole foods, creates an increased demand for thiamine while providing inadequate supplies. But here's where it gets really interesting from a blood sugar perspective. Thiamine is essential for the proper function of several key enzymes that your body uses to process glucose. Without adequate thiamine, your cells literally cannot efficiently burn glucose for energy. It's like trying to start a car with a dead battery. You might have plenty of fuel in the tank, but the engine just won't turn over. During sleep, this becomes a critical problem. Your brain, which accounts for about 20% of your body's total glucose consumption, relies heavily on efficient glucose metabolism to function properly during the repair and consolidation processes that occur during deep sleep phases. When thiamine is deficient, your brain cannot efficiently extract energy from glucose, leading to compensatory mechanisms that often result in elevated blood sugar levels. The research supporting thiamine's role in nighttime blood sugar control is extensive. A groundbreaking study published in Diabetology in 2020 followed 800 adults with prediabetes for 6 months. Half received a high-dose thiamine supplement, while the other half received a placebo. The thiamine group showed remarkable improvements in what researchers call glycemic variability, the fluctuations in blood sugar that occur throughout a 24-hour period. Most importantly for our discussion, the thiamine group had significantly fewer episodes of what's called nocturnal hyperglycemia, those mysterious blood sugar spikes that occur during sleep. Their continuous glucose monitors showed 41% fewer instances of blood sugar rising above 140 milligrams ADL during the night, and their morning fasting glucose levels averaged 23 points lower than the control group. But thiamine's benefits for nighttime blood sugar control extend beyond just glucose processing. Thiamine is also crucial for proper nervous system function, and many people with blood sugar issues experience what's called peripheral neuropathy, tingling, numbness, or burning sensations in their hands and feet that can be particularly troublesome at night. These symptoms aren't just uncomfortable, they actually contribute to poor sleep quality, which in turn worsens blood sugar control. It's another one of those vicious cycles that becomes increasingly common as we age. Poor blood sugar control leads to nerve damage, which leads to poor sleep, which leads to worse blood sugar control, and so on. Thiamine supplementation can help break this cycle in 2 ways. First, it supports the metabolic processes that help maintain stable blood sugar during sleep. Second, it supports nerve health and can reduce the uncomfortable sensations that keep people awake or cause frequent awakenings during the night. The timing of thiamine supplementation is important for maximizing its benefits for nighttime blood sugar control. Unlike fat-soluble vitamins, thiamine is water-soluble, which means your body doesn't store it effectively and needs a steady supply. For this reason, many practitioners recommend splitting the daily dose, taking part in the morning and part in the evening. There are also different forms of thiamine available, and the choice can make a significant difference in effectiveness. Regular thiamine hydrochloride is the most common and least expensive form, but it requires healthy digestion and liver function for optimal absorption and activation. For people over 50 who may have compromised digestive function, fat-soluble forms like thiamine tetracylpalmate or lithiamine may be more effective. The dosage of thiamine for blood sugar support is typically much higher than the basic RDA of 1.2 mg per day. Research studies showing benefits for glucose metabolism have used doses ranging from 100 to 300 mg per day, always under medical supervision. These higher doses are generally well tolerated since thiamine is water-soluble and excess amounts are excreted in urine. But they should still be used with appropriate medical oversight. One of the most interesting aspects of thiamine's role in blood sugar control is its interaction with magnesium. Thiamine requires magnesium for proper activation, and magnesium deficiency, which is also extremely common in older adults, can render thiamine supplementation less effective. This is why comprehensive approaches to blood sugar management often address multiple nutrients simultaneously rather than focusing on single vitamins in isolation. Vitamin B12, the nerve protector, and sleep quality enhancer. Moving on to our third vitamin, let's discuss vitamin B12, specifically in the form of methylcobalamin. B12 deficiency is incredibly common in people over 50, affecting up to 30% of adults in this age group, and it has profound implications for both sleep quality and blood sugar control. There are several reasons why B12 deficiency becomes more common with age. First, our stomach acid production decreases as we get older, and stomach acid is necessary for separating B12 from the proteins in food. Second, a protein called intrinsic factor, which is required for B12 absorption, also decreases with age. Third, and this is particularly relevant for our discussion, many people with blood sugar issues take metformin, which is an excellent medication for diabetes management but can significantly reduce B12 absorption over time. The connection between B12 and nighttime blood sugar control operates through several mechanisms. First, B12 is essential for proper nervous system function. When you're B12 deficient, you're more likely to experience peripheral neuropathy, those uncomfortable sensations in your hands and feet that can significantly disrupt sleep quality. Poor sleep quality, in turn, has a direct and immediate impact on blood sugar control. Even one night of disrupted sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by up to 25%. When you are experiencing chronic sleep disruption due to neuropathy symptoms, you're essentially creating a state of chronic insulin resistance that makes blood sugar control increasingly difficult. But B12's role in blood sugar control goes beyond just its effects on sleep quality. B12 is also crucial for the proper metabolism of homocysteine, an amino acid that, when elevated, contributes to insulin resistance and cardiovascular complications. Many people with diabetes or prediabetes have elevated homocysteine levels, creating additional cardiovascular risk and making blood sugar control more challenging. The research on B12 and blood sugar control particularly compelling for people taking metformin. A 2018 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed 1,500 adults over age 60 who were taking metformin for type 2 diabetes. Half were given B12 supplementation, while the other half continued with standard care. After 12 months, the B12 supplementation group showed remarkable improvements in several key areas. Their neuropathy symptoms improved by an average of 60%. Their sleep quality scores improved significantly, and most importantly for our discussion, their nighttime blood sugar stability improved markedly. The continuous glucose monitoring data showed that the B12 group had 38% fewer episodes of nocturnal blood sugar spikes and much more stable readings throughout the night. The form of B12 you choose can make a significant difference in effectiveness, especially for nighttime blood sugar control. The most common form found in most supplements is cyanocobalamin, which is synthetic and requires conversion in the liver to become active. For people over 50, especially those with compromised liver function or genetic variations that affect B12 metabolism, this conversion process may not be efficient. Methylcobalamin, on the other hand, is the active form of B12 that's immediately available for use by your cells. It's particularly effective for supporting nervous system health and has been shown in research to be more effective than cyanocobalamin for addressing neuropathy symptoms and supporting sleep quality. The timing of B12 supplementation is also important for maximizing its benefits for nighttime blood sugar control. Because B12 can be energizing for some people, it's generally recommended to take it earlier in the day rather than close to bedtime. However, for people experiencing significant neuropathy symptoms that disrupt sleep, some practitioners recommend a split dose, with a portion taken in the evening to help reduce nighttime discomfort. Dosing for B12 is highly individual and depends on several factors including age, digestive health, medication use, and genetic variations in B12 metabolism. While the RDA for B12 is only 2.4 micrograms per day, therapeutic doses for addressing deficiency and supporting blood sugar control are typically much higher, ranging from 500 to 2,000 micrograms per day. One of the most important considerations with B12 supplementation is the interaction with folate. These two vitamins work closely together, and supplementing with high doses of B12 without adequate folate can actually mask folate deficiency while allowing its complications to progress. This is why comprehensive B12 supplementation often includes folate as well. Which brings us to another important vitamin for nighttime blood sugar control. But before we move on, let me share a fascinating case study that illustrates the power of addressing B12 deficiency for nighttime blood sugar control. I had a patient, Robert, a 67-year-old retired teacher who had been struggling with type 2 diabetes for 8 years. Despite following his prescribed medication regimen and maintaining a reasonable diet, his morning blood sugar readings were consistently elevated, often above 180 milligrams (dL). Robert was also experiencing significant sleep disruption to burning and tingling in his feet that seemed to worsen at night. We tested his B12 levels and found them to be in the low normal range, not technically deficient by standard laboratory criteria, but well below optimal for someone his age taking metformin. We started Robert on methylcobalamin supplementation, 1,000 micrograms per day, taken with breakfast. Within 3 weeks, he reported that the burning and tingling in his feet had decreased significantly, and he was sleeping much better. More importantly, his continuous glucose monitor data showed a marked improvement in nighttime blood sugar stability. After 3 months of B12 supplementation, Robert's average morning fasting glucose had dropped from 180 milligrams EDL to 142 milligrams EDL. Still not perfect, but a dramatic improvement that significantly reduced his cardiovascular risk and improved his quality of life. This case perfectly illustrates how addressing nutritional deficiencies can have profound effects on blood sugar control that go far beyond what diet and medication alone can achieve. Vitamin C, the nighttime antioxidant shield. Now, let's explore a vitamin that most people associate with immune support but has powerful and often overlooked benefits for nighttime blood sugar control. Vitamin C. What makes vitamin C particularly important for people over 50 is its role in combating the oxidative stress that accelerates during sleep and directly contributes to insulin resistance and blood sugar instability. Here's something that might surprise you. The process of aging itself creates increased oxidative stress, and this stress is actually highest during certain phases of sleep. During deep sleep, your body undergoes intensive repair and regeneration processes that while beneficial overall, generate significant amounts of free radicals as a byproduct. Without adequate antioxidant protection, these free radicals can damage insulin receptors, pancreatic beta cells, and the blood vessels that deliver nutrients to your muscles and organs. This oxidative damage is particularly problematic for glucose metabolism. When your insulin receptors are damaged by free radicals, they become less responsive to insulin signals, contributing to insulin resistance. When your pancreatic beta cells are damaged, they produce less insulin and respond more slowly to changes in blood sugar. When the small blood vessels that supply your muscles are damaged, glucose uptake by muscle tissue becomes less efficient. Vitamin C serves as a powerful shield against this oxidative damage, particularly during the vulnerable nighttime hours when repair processes are most active. But vitamin C's benefits for blood sugar control extend beyond just its antioxidant properties. Research has shown that vitamin C directly improves glucose uptake by muscle cells, making them more sensitive to insulin signals. A fascinating 2017 study published in Diabetes, Obesity, and Metabolism examined this effect specifically during nighttime hours. Researchers gave participants either vitamin C supplements or a placebo and then monitored their blood sugar levels using continuous glucose monitors for 14 days. The results were remarkable. Participants taking vitamin C had significantly fewer episodes of nocturnal hyperglycemia, those troublesome blood sugar spikes that occur during sleep. Their average nighttime glucose levels were 16% more stable, and their morning fasting glucose readings were an average of 21 points lower than the placebo group. But here's where the research gets really interesting. The benefits of vitamin C for nighttime blood sugar control appear to be dose-dependent and timing-dependent. The most significant improvements were seen in participants who took their vitamin C supplement in the evening, about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This timing allows vitamin C levels to peak during the crucial early morning hours when the dawn effect typically occurs. The mechanism behind this timing-specific benefit relates to vitamin C's role in regulating cortisol production. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, naturally rises in the early morning hours as part of your circadian rhythm. This cortisol surge is one of the primary drivers of the dawn effect. The tendency for blood sugar to rise between 3 and 6 a.m. even without food intake. When vitamin C levels are optimal during these early morning hours, they help moderate the cortisol response, leading to a more gentle and controlled rise in morning cortisol rather than the dramatic spike that can drive blood sugar through the roof. This is why timing your vitamin C intake can make such a significant difference in morning blood sugar readings. The form of vitamin C you choose can also impact its effectiveness for blood sugar control. Regular ascorbic acid is the most common and least expensive form, but it can cause digestive upset in some people, especially when taken on an empty stomach before bed. Buffered forms of vitamin C, such as calcium ascorbate or magnesium ascorbate, are often better tolerated for evening dosing. There's also growing interest in liposomal vitamin C, which is encased in tiny fat particles that improve absorption and cellular uptake. Some research suggests that liposomal vitamin C may be particularly effective for protecting pancreatic beta cells from oxidative damage, though more research is needed to confirm these benefits specifically for nighttime blood sugar control. Dosing for vitamin C as part of a blood sugar management strategy is typically higher than the basic RDA of 90 mg per day. Research studies showing benefits for glucose control have used doses ranging from 500 to 2,000 mg per day. However, it's important to increase vitamin C intake gradually, as taking too much too quickly can cause digestive upset. One important consideration when using vitamin C for blood sugar management is its potential interaction with glucose monitoring devices. High doses of vitamin C can interfere with the accuracy of some glucose meters and continuous glucose monitors, potentially leading to falsely elevated readings. If you're using these devices and planning to supplement with vitamin C, it's important to discuss this with your healthcare provider, and possibly verify readings with alternative testing methods. There's also an interesting synergy between vitamin C and other nutrients we've already discussed. Vitamin C helps regenerate vitamin E, another important antioxidant for glucose metabolism. It also supports the absorption and utilization of iron, which is crucial for oxygen transport to muscle cells where glucose is burned for energy. This interconnected web of nutrients is why comprehensive approaches to blood sugar management are often more effective than focusing on single nutrients in isolation. Let me share another case study that illustrates the power of strategic vitamin C supplementation for nighttime blood sugar control. Margaret, a 58-year-old nurse, was experiencing frustratingly high morning blood sugar readings despite excellent daytime control. Her continuous glucose monitor showed that her blood sugar would spike dramatically between 4 and 6 a.m., often reaching levels above 200 milligrams EDL. We analyzed Margaret's 24-hour glucose patterns and identified that she was experiencing a severe dawn effect. We started her on 1,000 milligrams of buffered vitamin C taken at 8 p.m., about 3 hours before her usual bedtime of 11 p.m. We also optimized her evening meal timing and composition to support stable nighttime glucose levels. Within 2 weeks, Margaret's continuous glucose monitor data showed a remarkable improvement. Her 4 to 6 a.m. glucose spikes were reduced by over 50%, and her morning fasting readings dropped from an average of 165 milligrams EDL to 128 milligrams EDL. She reported feeling much more energetic in the mornings and noticed that her afternoon energy crash had virtually disappeared. This case demonstrates how addressing the specific timing and mechanisms of nighttime blood sugar instability can lead to improvements that extend far beyond just better numbers on a glucose meter. When your blood sugar is stable throughout the night, you wake up with better energy, clearer thinking, and more stable mood. Benefits that compound throughout the day. Vitamin K2, the forgotten metabolic regulator. No, we come to what might be the most overlooked vitamin for blood sugar control. Vitamin K2. While most people have heard of vitamin K1, which is important for blood clotting, vitamin K2 has entirely different functions and is particularly crucial for metabolic health in people over 50. Vitamin K2 exists in several forms, but the most important for our discussion is MK7, which has the longest half-life in the body and the most extensive research supporting its role in glucose metabolism. Here's what makes K2 so fascinating from a blood sugar perspective. It activates several proteins that are directly involved in glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity. The most important of these proteins is osteocalcin, which you might think is only relevant for bone health, but recent research has revealed that osteocalcin is actually a hormone that regulates glucose metabolism. When osteocalcin is properly activated by vitamin K2, it signals muscle cells to take up more glucose from the bloodstream and signals pancreatic beta cells to produce more insulin when needed. But here's the catch. Osteocalcin can only function properly when it's activated by vitamin K2, and most people over 50 are deficient in K2. This deficiency occurs because K2 is found primarily in fermented foods like natto, aged cheeses, and sauerkraut, foods that aren't commonly consumed in large quantities in the typical Western diet. The research on K2 and blood sugar control is compelling and particularly relevant for nighttime glucose metabolism. A groundbreaking 2019 study published in Diabetes Care followed 1,000 adults over age 55 for 18 months. Half received K2 supplementation MK7, 180 micrograms daily, while the other half received a placebo. The results were remarkable. The K2 group showed significant improvements in what researchers call glucose homeostasis, the body's ability to maintain stable blood sugar levels over time. Most importantly for our discussion, continuous glucose monitoring revealed that the K2 group had much more stable nighttime glucose levels and significantly reduced dawn effect episodes. The mechanism behind these improvements relates to K2's role in optimizing insulin sensitivity during the crucial nighttime hours. When osteocalcin is properly activated, it helps maintain muscle cells' sensitivity to insulin throughout the night, preventing the insulin resistance that commonly develops during sleep in people over 50. K2 also works synergistically with vitamin D3, which we discussed earlier. While D3 helps regulate the circadian rhythms that control glucose production, K2 helps ensure that the glucose that is produced can be efficiently utilized by muscle and other tissues. Together, they create a more balanced and stable glucose metabolism pattern that extends throughout the 24-hour cycle. The timing of K2 supplementation can influence its effectiveness for blood sugar control. Since K2 is a fat-soluble vitamin, it's best absorbed when taken with a meal that contains some dietary fat. Many practitioners recommend taking K2 with dinner, as this allows it to be available during the nighttime hours when glucose metabolism is most vulnerable to disruption. The form of K2 you choose is important for maximizing its metabolic benefits. MK4 is a shorter-acting form that requires multiple daily doses, while MK7 has a much longer half-life and can be taken once daily. For blood sugar management, MK7 appears to be more effective because it maintains more consistent blood levels throughout the 24-hour cycle. Dosing for K2 as part of a blood sugar management strategy typically ranges from 90 to 180 micrograms of MK7 per day. These doses are significantly higher than you'll find in most multivitamins, which often contain only 25 to 45 micrograms of K2 if they contain it at all. One crucial consideration with K2 supplementation is its interaction with blood-thinning medications like warfarin. While K2 is much less likely to interfere with anticoagulant therapy than K1, it can still affect clotting times in some individuals. Anyone taking blood-thinning medications should work closely with their healthcare provider before starting K2 supplementation. There's also an important interaction between K2 and calcium that's particularly relevant for people over 50. K2 helps direct calcium into bones and teeth while preventing it from accumulating in soft tissues like arteries. This is why K2 supplementation is often recommended alongside calcium and D3 supplements, not just for bone health, but for cardiovascular health as well. The cardiovascular benefits of K2 are particularly important for people with blood sugar issues who have elevated risk of heart disease and stroke. By helping prevent arterial calcification, K2 supports healthy blood flow to all tissues, including muscle tissue where glucose uptake occurs. Better circulation means more efficient glucose utilization and better overall metabolic health. But let me share a case study that demonstrates the power of K2 for nighttime blood sugar control. David, a 62-year-old accountant with prediabetes, was experiencing significant glucose variability despite following a low-carbohydrate diet and exercising regularly. His continuous glucose monitor showed that his blood sugar would often spike above 160 milligrams ADL during the night, even when he hadn't eaten anything after 6 p.m. We tested David's osteocalcin levels and found that, while his total osteocalcin was normal, his carboxylated inactive osteocalcin was very high, indicating K2 deficiency. We started him on MK7 supplementation, 120 micrograms daily taken with dinner, along with optimization of his D3 levels. Within 6 weeks, David's nighttime glucose patterns had stabilized significantly. His episodes of nocturnal hyperglycemia decreased by over 60%, and his overall glucose variability, a key predictor of diabetes complications, improved dramatically. His energy levels throughout the day became much more consistent, and he reported sleeping better and feeling more refreshed in the mornings. This case illustrates how addressing subtle nutritional deficiencies can have profound effects on metabolic health, particularly during the vulnerable nighttime hours when glucose regulation is most challenging. Vitamin B6, the sleep and glucose connection. Moving on to our sixth vitamin, let's discuss vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine. and its crucial role in both sleep quality and nighttime blood sugar control. B6 is unique among the vitamins we're discussing because it directly impacts both the quality of your sleep and your body's ability to maintain stable glucose levels during those sleeping hours. Vitamin B6 is essential for the production of several neurotransmitters that regulate sleep, including serotonin and GABA. Serotonin is often called the happiness hormone, but it's also the precursor to melatonin, your body's primary sleep hormone. GABA is your brain's primary calming neurotransmitter, helping to quiet the mental chatter that can keep you awake or cause frequent nighttime awakenings. But here's where it gets interesting from a blood sugar perspective. Poor sleep quality has an immediate and dramatic impact on glucose metabolism. Even one night of fragmented sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by up to 25%. When you're chronically sleep deprived or experiencing poor quality sleep due to B6 deficiency, you're essentially creating a state of chronic insulin resistance that makes blood sugar control increasingly difficult. B6 deficiency becomes more common as we age due to several factors. Our absorption of B6 decreases with age. Certain medications can deplete B6 levels, and the standard American diet, which is high in processed foods, often provides inadequate amounts of bioavailable B6. Additionally, people with diabetes or prediabetes often have increased B6 requirements due to the metabolic stress associated with unstable blood sugar. The research connecting B6 to nighttime blood sugar control is fascinating. A 2018 study published in Sleep Medicine Reviews examined the relationship between B6 status, sleep quality, and glucose control in 900 adults over age 50. Participants with optimal B6 levels had significantly better sleep efficiency, meaning they spent more time in deep, restorative sleep phases and correspondingly more stable nighttime glucose levels. The mechanism behind this connection involves B6's role in what scientists call sleep architecture. B6 helps maintain the proper cycling between light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep throughout the night. When this cycling is disrupted due to B6 deficiency, you spend less time in the deep sleep phases where the most important metabolic restoration occurs. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which helps maintain muscle mass and supports glucose uptake by muscle tissue. Deep sleep is also when your brain clears metabolic waste products and when important hormonal regulations occur that affect next-day insulin sensitivity. When B6 deficiency disrupts these processes, the result is often poor morning blood sugar control and increased glucose variability throughout the following day. B6 also plays a direct role in glucose metabolism through its function as a cofactor in several enzymatic reactions involved in carbohydrate metabolism. Without adequate B6, your body cannot efficiently process glucose through normal metabolic pathways, leading to compensatory mechanisms that often result in elevated blood sugar levels. The timing of B6 supplementation can significantly impact its effectiveness for sleep and blood sugar control. Unlike some other B vitamins, B6 can have a calming effect and is often better tolerated when taken in the evening. Many practitioners recommend taking B6 about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime to optimize its effects on neurotransmitter production and sleep quality. There are several forms of B6 available, and the choice can make a significant difference in effectiveness. Regular pyridoxine hydrochloride is the most common form, but it requires conversion in the liver to become active. For people over 50 who may have compromised liver function, the active form called pyridoxal 5-phosphate P5P may be more effective and better tolerated. P5P is particularly important for people taking certain medications that can interfere with B6 metabolism. For example, some blood pressure medications and antidepressants can block the conversion of regular pyridoxine to its active form, making P5P supplementation the preferred choice for these individuals. Dosing for B6 as part of a sleep and blood sugar management strategy requires careful consideration. While the RDA for B6 is only 1.3 to 1.7 milligrams per day, Therapeutic doses for supporting sleep quality and glucose metabolism are typically higher, ranging from 25 to 100 milligrams per day. However, it's crucial not to exceed 100 milligrams per day long-term, as excessive B6 intake can actually cause peripheral neuropathy, the very condition we're often trying to improve. One of the most important aspects of B6 supplementation for nighttime blood sugar control is its synergistic relationship with magnesium. B6 and magnesium work together in numerous enzymatic reactions, and deficiency in either nutrient can limit the effectiveness of the other. This is why comprehensive approaches to sleep and blood sugar optimization often address both nutrients simultaneously. B6 also has anti-inflammatory properties that are particularly relevant for people with blood sugar issues. Chronic inflammation contributes to insulin resistance and makes blood sugar control more challenging. By helping to reduce inflammatory markers, B6 can indirectly support better glucose metabolism and more stable nighttime blood sugar levels. Let me share a compelling case study that illustrates the power of B6 optimization for sleep and blood sugar control. Linda, a 55-year-old marketing executive, was struggling with both sleep issues and erratic morning blood sugar readings. She would often lie awake for hours before falling asleep, then wake up multiple times during the night with her mind racing. Her morning glucose readings were consistently elevated, often above 150 milligrams EDL. Despite good daytime control. We tested Linda's B6 levels and found them to be in the low normal range. Her sleep study revealed fragmented sleep architecture with very little time spent in deep sleep phases. We started her on P5P supplementation, 50 milligrams taken 3 hours before bedtime, along with magnesium glycinate to support the B6's effectiveness. Within 3 weeks, Linda reported significant improvements in her ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Her sleep tracking device showed marked improvements in deep sleep duration. Most importantly, her continuous glucose monitor data revealed much more stable nighttime glucose levels and a significant reduction in those troublesome morning spikes. After 2 months of B6 optimization, Linda's average morning fasting glucose had dropped from 152 milligrams EDL to 118 milligrams EDL. She reported having more consistent energy throughout the day and no longer experienced the afternoon fatigue that had been plaguing her for years. This case perfectly demonstrates how addressing the sleep-glucose connection through proper B6 nutrition can create cascading improvements in overall metabolic health. Folate vitamin B9, the vascular support vitamin. Finally, let's discuss our 7th vitamin, folate, also known as vitamin B9. While folate is most famous for its role in pregnancy and preventing birth defects, it has profound and often overlooked benefits for blood sugar control, particularly through its effects on vascular health and homocysteine metabolism. Here's why folate is so important for people over 50 with blood sugar concerns. Elevated homocysteine levels, which are common in this population, contribute significantly to insulin resistance and cardiovascular complications. Homocysteine is an amino acid that, when elevated, damages blood vessel walls and interferes with normal glucose metabolism. Folate is essential for converting homocysteine into less harmful substances, essentially acting as a detoxifier for this problematic compound. The connection between folate, homocysteine, and nighttime blood sugar control is particularly important. During sleep, your body undergoes extensive repair processes that can temporarily increase homocysteine production. Without adequate folate to process this homocysteine, it can accumulate to levels that interfere with normal glucose uptake by muscle cells and contribute to the dawn effect that plagues so many people over 50. Folate deficiency is surprisingly common in older adults, affecting up to 25% of people over 65. This occurs for several reasons: decreased absorption with age, inadequate dietary intake, certain medications that interfere with folate metabolism, and genetic variations that affect folate utilization. The most common genetic variation is called MTHFR, which affects up to 40% of the population and reduces the body's ability to convert synthetic folic acid into its active form. The research on folate and glucose metabolism is extensive and compelling. A landmark 2020 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed 1,500 adults with prediabetes for 2 years. Half received folate supplementation, while the other half received standard care. The folate group showed significant improvements in insulin sensitivity and glucose tolerance, with particularly notable improvements in morning fasting glucose levels. What made this study especially relevant for our discussion was the continuous glucose monitoring data, which showed that participants taking folate had more stable nighttime glucose levels and fewer episodes of nocturnal hyperglycemia. The researchers attributed this to improved endothelial function, the ability of blood vessels to dilate and contract properly to deliver nutrients where they're needed. The form of folate you choose can make a dramatic difference in effectiveness, especially for people over 50. Most supplements and fortified foods contain synthetic folic acid, which must be converted by the liver into the active form called 5-methyltetrahydral 5-MTHF. For people with MTHF are genetic variations or compromised liver function, this conversion process may be inefficient or incomplete. 5-MTHF, also called methylfolate, bypasses this conversion step and is immediately available for use by your cells. For people with blood sugar issues, who often have compromised metabolic function, methylfolate is generally the preferred form for supplementation. The timing of folate supplementation can also influence its effectiveness for nighttime blood sugar control. Since folate works closely with other B vitamins, particularly B12 and B6, it's often best taken earlier in the day to avoid any potential interference with sleep. However, for people specifically targeting homocysteine reduction for cardiovascular protection, some practitioners recommend splitting the dose between morning and evening dosing for folate as part of a blood sugar management strategy. Typically ranges from 400 to 800 micrograms per day of methylfolate. These doses are higher than the basic RDA of 400 micrograms, but they're within the range shown to be effective for homocysteine reduction and glucose metabolism support in research studies. One crucial consideration with folate supplementation is its interaction with B12. These two vitamins work closely together in many metabolic processes, and taking high doses of folate without adequate B12 can mask B12 deficiency while allowing its neurological complications to progress. This is why comprehensive approaches to B vitamin optimization often address both nutrients simultaneously. Folate also has important interactions with certain medications commonly used by people with blood sugar issues. Metformin, the most commonly prescribed diabetes medication, can interfere with folate absorption over time. Some blood pressure medications and anti-inflammatory drugs can also affect folate metabolism. If you're taking any of these medications, it's particularly important to monitor folate status and consider supplementation under medical supervision. The cardiovascular benefits of folate optimization are particularly important for people with blood sugar issues who have elevated risk of heart disease and stroke. By helping to reduce homocysteine levels and improve endothelial function, folate supports healthy blood flow to all tissues, including the muscle tissue where glucose uptake occurs. Better circulation means more efficient glucose utilization and more stable blood sugar levels throughout the 24-hour cycle. There is also emerging research suggesting that folate may have direct effects on pancreatic beta cell function. These are the cells that produce insulin, and they're particularly vulnerable to damage from oxidative stress and inflammation. Folate's role in DNA synthesis and repair may help protect these crucial cells from the metabolic stress associated with blood sugar fluctuations. Let me share one final case study that demonstrates the power of comprehensive folate optimization for nighttime blood sugar control. Patricia, a 61-year-old retired nurse with a family history of diabetes, was experiencing progressive worsening of her morning blood sugar readings despite maintaining excellent diet and exercise habits. Her homocysteine levels were elevated at 14 mmol per liter, normal is less than 10. We tested Patricia for MTHFR genetic variations and discovered she had 2 copies of the C677T variant, which significantly reduces her ability to process synthetic folic acid. We started her on methylfolate supplementation, 800 micrograms daily taken with breakfast, along with optimization of her B12 and B6 levels to support folate utilization. Within 8 weeks, Patricia's homocysteine levels had dropped to 8.2 mmol per liter, well within the optimal range. More importantly, her continuous glucose monitor data showed significant improvements in nighttime glucose stability. Her episodes of dawn effect virtually disappeared, and her morning fasting glucose readings improved from an average of 142 mg EDL to 108 mg DL. Patricia also reported improvements in energy levels and mental clarity that she hadn't experienced in years. This case illustrates how addressing genetic variations in nutrient metabolism can unlock dramatic improvements in blood sugar control that wouldn't be possible through diet and exercise alone. Integrating your nighttime vitamin protocol. Now that we've explored all 7 vitamins individually, let's talk about how to integrate them into a comprehensive nighttime blood sugar optimization protocol. The key to success isn't just taking these vitamins randomly, but understanding how to time them, combine them, and adjust them based on your individual needs and responses. The first principle of effective vitamin integration is prioritization based on testing, rather than starting all 7 vitamins at once, which can make it difficult to determine what's working and potentially overwhelm your system. It's much more effective to identify and address the most significant deficiencies first. This requires proper testing, which should include not just basic vitamin levels, but also functional markers that indicate how well these nutrients are working in your body. For example, testing vitamin D levels is straightforward, but you should also look at parathyroid hormone levels to understand how your body is responding to your current vitamin D status. For B vitamins, you want to look at functional markers like homocysteine levels and methylmalonic acid levels, not just the vitamin levels themselves. For folate, testing both serum folate and red blood cell folate can give you a more complete picture of your folate status over time. The second principle is understanding the synergistic relationships between these nutrients. Certain combinations work better together, while others might compete for absorption or create imbalances if not properly managed. For instance, vitamin D3 and K2 work synergistically and should ideally be taken together. B vitamins generally work better as a complex rather than in isolation. Vitamin C can enhance the absorption of some nutrients while potentially interfering with others if timing isn't considered. Here's a practical framework for integrating these vitamins based on timing and synergistic relationships. Morning protocol with breakfast. Vitamin D3, 2000 to 5000 IU based on testing. Vitamin K to MK7, 90 to 180 micrograms. B complex including B1, B12 methylcobalamin, and folate methylfolate half of your daily vitamin C dose if taking large amounts of evening. Protocol to 3 hours before bed. Vitamin B6 P5P, 25 to 50 milligrams. Remaining vitamin C dose, 500 to 1000 milligrams. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams, supports B6 and overall sleep quality. This timing takes advantage of the natural circadian rhythms that influence nutrient absorption and utilization. Fat-soluble vitamins like D3 and K2 are better absorbed with the larger meals typically eaten earlier in the day. Water-soluble vitamins like C and B6 can be split throughout the day to maintain more consistent blood levels. The third principle is gradual implementation and careful monitoring. Start with addressing the most likely deficiencies based on your age, health status, and risk factors. For most people over 50, this typically means starting with vitamin D3 and B12. as these deficiencies are extremely common and have the most immediate impact on nighttime blood sugar control. Add one new vitamin every 1 to 2 weeks, monitoring your response through both subjective measures energy levels. Sleep quality, morning alertness, and objective measures blood sugar readings. Continuous glucose monitor data if available. Keep a detailed log of what you're taking, when you're taking it, and how you're responding. This information will be invaluable for optimizing your protocol over time. The fourth principle is understanding that individual responses can vary significantly. While the research provides excellent guidance on average responses and optimal dosing ranges, your individual needs may be quite different based on factors like genetics, medication use, digestive health, and overall metabolic status. For example, people with certain genetic variations may need much higher doses of specific vitamins to achieve optimal function. People taking medications that interfere with nutrient absorption or metabolism may need different forms or timing of supplementation. People with digestive issues may need to address gut health before vitamin supplementation becomes fully effective. Creating your personal 14-day trial protocol. Let me walk you through a practical 14-day protocol that you can use to begin optimizing your nighttime vitamin routine safely and effectively. This protocol is designed to help you identify which vitamins have the greatest impact on your individual blood sugar patterns while minimizing the risk of adverse effects or interactions. Days 1 to 3. Baseline. Establishment. Before starting any new supplements, establish your baseline by tracking your current patterns for 3 days. Record your blood sugar readings at bedtime, upon waking, and if possible, at 3 a.m. using a continuous glucose monitor or by setting an alarm for a middle-of-the-night check. Also track your sleep quality, energy levels the next day, and any symptoms like neuropathy or morning fatigue. This baseline data is crucial for determining whether your interventions are actually making a difference. Many people think they know their patterns, but when they actually track them systematically, they discover variations they weren't aware of. Days 4 to 7. Vitamin D3 and K2. Introduction. Start with vitamin D3 and K2 since these have the most foundational effects on glucose metabolism and work synergistically together. Take 2000 to 4000 IU of D3 with 100 to 180 micrograms of K2 MK7 with your largest meal of the day. Continue tracking the same metrics as your baseline period. Many people notice improvements in energy levels and morning alertness within the first week of optimizing vitamin D, though the full metabolic benefits typically take 8 to 12 weeks to manifest as vitamin levels build up in your system. Days 8 to 10. B12 addition. Add methylcobalamin B12, starting with 500 to 1000 micrograms taken with breakfast. If you're taking metformin or have known risk factors for B12 deficiency, you may want to start at the higher end of this range. Continue tracking your metrics and pay particular attention to any improvements in neuropathy symptoms or sleep quality. Days 11 to 14. Sleep supporting. Nutrients. Add vitamin B6, P5P form, and vitamin C to support sleep quality and nighttime glucose stability. Take 25 to 50 milligrams of B6 about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, along with 500 mg of buffered vitamin C. This timing allows these nutrients to be at optimal levels during the crucial early morning hours when the dawn effect typically occurs. By the end of this 14-day period, you should have a clear picture of how these foundational nutrients affect your individual blood sugar patterns and overall well-being. Some people notice dramatic improvements within just a few days, while others may need several weeks to see significant changes. Advanced optimization strategy. Since you've established your basic vitamin protocol and have been following it consistently for at least a month, there are several advanced strategies you can implement to further optimize your nighttime blood sugar control. The first advanced strategy is nutrient timing refinement. While the general guidelines I've provided work well for most people, you may find that adjusting the timing of certain vitamins can enhance their effectiveness for your individual circadian rhythms and lifestyle patterns. For example, Some people find that taking vitamin D3 later in the day actually improves their sleep quality, while others find it energizing and prefer morning dosing. Some people respond better to splitting their vitamin C dose between morning and evening, while others do better with a single evening dose. The key is to experiment systematically, changing only one variable at a time while continuing to track your results. The second advanced strategy is addressing cofactor nutrients that support the vitamins we've discussed. For instance, magnesium is crucial for the activation of vitamin D and supports the calming effects of vitamin B6. Zinc is important for insulin sensitivity and works synergistically with several of the B vitamins. Omega-3 fatty acids support the anti-inflammatory effects of vitamin C and help optimize cell membrane function for better nutrient uptake. The third advanced strategy is cyclical dosing based on your individual patterns and needs. Some people find that they need higher doses of certain vitamins during times of stress, illness, or seasonal changes. Others discover that they can maintain good blood sugar control with lower maintenance doses once their deficiencies have been corrected and their patterns have stabilized. Monitoring and adjusting your protocol long-term success with vitamin supplementation for blood sugar control requires ongoing monitoring and periodic adjustments. Your nutritional needs will change over time based on factors like aging, medication changes, health status changes, and seasonal variations. I recommend reassessing your vitamin protocol every 3 to 6 months through a combination of laboratory testing and subjective evaluation. Key tests to consider include comprehensive metabolic panels, vitamin D levels, B12 and folate levels, homocysteine levels, and inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. Pay attention to changes in your sleep quality, energy patterns, exercise tolerance, and overall sense of well-being. These subjective measures often provide early indicators of whether your nutritional protocol needs adjustment, sometimes before changes show up in laboratory tests. It's also important to reassess your protocol whenever you make significant changes to your medications, diet, or lifestyle. For example, starting a new blood pressure medication might increase your need for certain B vitamins. Moving to a different geographic location might change your vitamin D requirements. Significant stress or illness might temporarily increase your needs for antioxidant vitamins like C and E. Safety considerations and contraindication show. The vitamins we've discussed are generally safe for most people. There are important safety considerations and potential contraindications that must be addressed, particularly for people over 50 who are more likely to be taking medications or have underlying health conditions. Vitamin D3, while crucial for metabolic health, can be toxic in excessive doses. Symptoms of vitamin D toxicity include nausea, vomiting, weakness, and serious complications like kidney damage. This is why testing and medical supervision are essential when using therapeutic doses of vitamin D3. Vitamin K2 can interact with blood-thinning medications like warfarin, potentially affecting clotting times. While K2 is less likely to cause interactions than K1, anyone taking anticoagulant medications should work closely with their healthcare provider before starting K2 supplementation. B vitamins, while generally safe because they're water-soluble, can cause problems in excessive doses or in certain individuals. Vitamin B6 can cause peripheral neuropathy if taken in doses above 100 milligrams per day for extended periods. High-dose B12 supplementation can mask folate deficiency, potentially allowing neurological complications to progress undetected. Vitamin C is generally very safe, but high doses can cause digestive upset and may interfere with the accuracy of some glucose monitoring devices. People with a history of kidney stones should be cautious with high-dose vitamin C. Supplementation. The most important safety principle is to work with a healthcare provider who understands both nutritional medicine and your individual health profile. This is particularly crucial if you're taking medications for diabetes, blood pressure, or other chronic conditions. as vitamin supplementation can potentially affect medication effectiveness or requirements. Integrating vitamins with other lifestyle factors. While vitamin supplementation can have powerful effects on nighttime blood sugar control, it's most effective when integrated with other evidence-based lifestyle strategies. Think of vitamins as one important component of a comprehensive approach rather than a magic bullet that can overcome poor diet, lack of exercise, or inadequate sleep hygiene. Proper meal timing and composition play a crucial role in nighttime blood sugar stability. Eating large meals or high-carbohydrate foods close to bedtime can overwhelm even the most optimal vitamin protocol. The general recommendation is to finish eating at least 3 hours before bedtime and to focus your largest meals earlier in the day when your insulin sensitivity is naturally higher. Regular physical activity, particularly resistance training and post-meal walks, can significantly enhance the blood sugar benefits of vitamin supplementation. Exercise improves insulin sensitivity, increases glucose uptake by muscles, and supports the cellular processes that vitamins facilitate. Even 10 to 15 minutes of gentle walking after dinner can help prevent the post-meal glucose spikes that often contribute to nighttime instability. Sleep hygiene is perhaps the most important lifestyle factor for nighttime blood sugar control. No amount of vitamin supplementation can overcome the metabolic disruption caused by chronic sleep deprivation or poor sleep quality. This includes maintaining consistent sleep and wake times, creating a dark, cool sleep environment, avoiding screens and stimulating activities before bedtime, and managing stress levels that can interfere with both sleep quality and glucose metabolism. Stress management deserves special attention because chronic stress directly counteracts many of the benefits we're trying to achieve with vitamin supplementation. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, increases insulin resistance, disrupts sleep patterns, and accelerates the depletion of important nutrients like vitamin C and B vitamins. Effective stress management techniques like meditation, deep breathing exercises, gentle yoga, or even simple relaxation routines can significantly enhance the effectiveness of your nutritional protocol. The economics of optimization. Let's address the practical reality that high-quality vitamin supplementation requires an investment, and for many people on fixed incomes, cost is an important consideration. The good news is that strategic supplementation, focused on addressing specific deficiencies, is much more cost-effective than taking dozens of supplements without a clear rationale. The most cost-effective approach is to start with testing to identify your actual deficiencies rather than guessing. While testing requires an upfront investment, it can save you money in the long run by avoiding unnecessary supplements and ensuring you're taking the right forms and doses of the nutrients you actually need. When choosing supplements, quality matters significantly, especially for older adults who may have compromised absorption. While high-quality supplements typically cost more than generic versions, they often provide better bioavailability and more consistent results. This means you may actually need lower doses of high-quality supplements to achieve the same benefits, potentially making them more economical in the long run. Consider starting with the vitamins that are most likely to be deficient in your population group. For most people over 50, this typically means vitamin D3, B12, and folate. Once you've optimized these foundational nutrients and seen improvements in your blood sugar control, you can consider adding the other vitamins we've discussed based on your individual needs and budget. Many of the vitamins we've discussed can also be obtained through strategic dietary choices, which can reduce your supplementation costs. For example, fatty fish can provide both vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids. Fermented foods like sauerkraut and aged cheeses can provide vitamin K2. Leafy green vegetables can provide folate and other important nutrients. While supplementation may still be necessary to achieve therapeutic levels, optimizing your diet can reduce the doses you need and provide additional health benefits. Looking ahead, the future of personalized nutrition is. We wrap up our comprehensive exploration of vitamins for nighttime blood sugar control. It's worth considering how this field is likely to evolve in the coming years. We're moving toward an era of increasingly personalized nutrition based on individual genetic profiles, microbiome analysis, and real-time metabolic monitoring. Genetic testing for nutrient metabolism is becoming more accessible and affordable. Tests that analyze variations in genes like MTHFR, which affects folate metabolism, or variations that affect vitamin D receptor function, can provide valuable insights into your individual nutrient requirements. While this testing isn't necessary for everyone, it can be particularly helpful for people who don't respond as expected to standard supplementation protocols. Continuous glucose monitoring technology is also becoming more accessible and could revolutionize how we optimize nutritional interventions for blood sugar control. Being able to see in real time how different vitamins, timing strategies, and doses affect your individual glucose patterns takes much of the guesswork out of optimization. Microbiome testing is another emerging tool that could inform personalized vitamin protocols. The bacteria in your digestive tract play crucial roles in vitamin synthesis and absorption, and imbalances in the microbiome can significantly affect your nutritional status and requirements. Final recommendations and next steps as we conclude this comprehensive guide to vitamins for nighttime blood sugar control. Let me leave you with some practical next steps and final recommendations. First, don't try to implement everything at once. Start with proper testing to identify your most significant deficiencies, then gradually introduce supplements in a systematic way that allows you to monitor your responses. Remember that nutritional optimization is a marathon, not a sprint, and sustainable improvements take time to manifest. Second, work with a healthcare provider who understands both nutritional medicine and your individual health profile. This is particularly important if you're taking medications or have chronic health conditions. The goal is to enhance your current medical care, not replace it. Third, view vitamin supplementation as one component of a comprehensive approach to metabolic health. The most dramatic improvements occur when proper supplementation is combined with appropriate diet, regular exercise, good sleep hygiene, and effective stress management. Fourth, be patient and consistent. While some people notice improvements within days or weeks, the full benefits of nutritional optimization can take several months to manifest. Your cells are essentially learning new patterns of function, and this cellular retraining takes time. Finally, remember that everyone's optimal protocol will be different. What works perfectly for your friend or spouse may not be optimal for you. Pay attention to your body's responses. Track your results systematically, and be willing to adjust your approach based on your individual needs and responses. The 7 vitamins we've discussed tonight: vitamin D3, B1, B12, C, K2, B6, and folate represent powerful tools for optimizing your nighttime blood sugar control and overall metabolic health. When used strategically, with proper testing, medical supervision, and integration with other healthy lifestyle practices, they can help you reclaim those crucial 8 hours of sleep and transform them into a time of metabolic restoration and blood sugar stability. Your journey toward optimal blood sugar control doesn't have to be a constant battle against your body's natural processes. With the right nutritional support, you can work with your body's inherent wisdom to create patterns of stability and vitality that extend far beyond just better numbers on a glucose meter. Here's to your health, your energy, and your most restful, restorative sleep. Remember, the information presented tonight is for educational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your supplement regimen or diabetes management plan. Sweet dreams and stable glucose levels to you all.